Good afternoon. The time is 4:39. I'd like to call to order the May 20th meeting of the Board of Police Commissioners. We have a quorum with Commissioner Sumter and Commissioner Fran Collier Clemens and Mayor Rilling. First, let me get to my agenda. First item on the agenda, approval of the minutes of the April 15th, 2024 meeting. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve the meeting of April.
The minutes of April 15th, are there any corrections, deletions, or omissions?
Yes, there are for me. On page 1,
Okay,
line 5, under approval of minutes, March 18th.
Mhm.
Commissioner Collier, that should be a dash between Collier and Clemens.
okay,
Under March Officer of the Month, line 1, Chief Walsh said "the" should be changed to "that."
okay,
On page 2, under Civilian Award Dispatcher, line 3,
It's stated.
paragraph 1, line 3,
Mhm.
from the distraught caller and instated, that should be instructed.
Right, correct.
Yes, and those are the only corrections I see.
Any other corrections, deletions, or omissions?
In the same paragraph, in the next sentence, she was able to hear the victim's what? I couldn't quite.
Agonal breathing.
Oh, okay. All right. Gotcha.
Okay. All in favor of the minutes as corrected?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Next item is public comment. Is there anybody waiting to address the Board of Police Commissioners?
There is not, Mayor.
Okay, so we will close public comment. Next, Chief, recognition of Officer of the Month, Officer William Lowe III and Officer Brett Derry.
Yes, Mayor. For April 2024, Officers of the Month are Officer Brett Derry and Officer William Lowe III. On April 18th, 2024, Officer Lowe III and Officer Derry were working an extra duty assignment on Rocky Point Road. An employee of the company they were working for came running towards Officer Lowe and advised him that another of the workers was having a medical emergency. Officer Lowe alerted Combined Dispatch and got his medical bag. Officer Derry observed what was happening and ran towards the employee who needed assistance. The male who needed assistance was down inside the sewer where he was working. The male was hoisted out of the sewer and moved away from the manhole. The worker was unconscious and his skin was purple and he had no pulse. Both Officers Lowe and Officer Derry performed CPR. Both Officers Lowe and Derry performed compressions and provided oxygen through a non-rebreather mask. The worker regained a pulse and began to breathe on his own before again losing consciousness. Officer Lowe and Derry continued CPR compressions, alternating between each other every few minutes. Norwalk Fire Department arrived on the scene with an AED. The AED was attached to the patient and a shock was advised and was administered. Norwalk paramedics arrived and took over care of the patient and was shocked with the AED 2 additional times. While on the stretcher, the patient regained consciousness and wanted to know what was happening. He was transported to Norwalk Hospital. I believe that the quick actions taken by Officer Lowe and Officer Derry contributed to saving his life of the construction worker. Both officers were able to provide swift and professional rescue, first aid, and CPR to the worker who has made a full recovery. Since this incident, I have spoken to the family members of the stricken worker who relay great thanks and appreciation that he is on a good road to recovery.
Wow. Excellent police work. And again, using their skills and their training, and were able to sustain life that probably would have been lost had they not acted quickly. And then with the assistance of the Norwalk Fire Department and the AED, it seems that this person was in great distress. So I kudos to the officers and thank you for a life-saving effort. Commissioners?
I'd like to.
Go ahead.
ahead.
Oh, no, I just said I commend the officers for a job well done in a situation that could have gone a different way had they not been there. And also not been, they were there and they knew the proper training, what to do, until they were assisted by the persons who, the EMS, who are actually trained to do that and does that all the time. Thought it was really good police work.
I think it was also, I want to commend both of them because they were both doing extra duty assignments. And sometimes when you pass by and see the officers on these extra duty assignments, you says, oh boy, that's a cushy job. But, you know, they were in the right place at the right time. And, you know, you're always on duty as a police officer. And I'm so glad that they're so well trained and can respond at any time, no matter whether they're on their assigned shift or whether they're working extra or whether they're just a citizen somewhere, you know, just out on their own time. They can spring into action and save someone's life. Congratulations to both of you and thank you so much.
Yes, we always have these incidents, and you know, the officers just feel that they're doing their job and they do it really well. So thank you, and kudos from the Board of Police Commissioners to the officers.
Yes.
Next item is patrol staffing. Deputy Chief Blake.
Good evening, or good afternoon still, Mayor and Commissioners. As of April 30th, we're fully staffed with no patrol officer vacancies. 144 sick days were used by sworn personnel and 54 workers' compensation days were used. We still have 2 officers on long-term injury. In April, our Detective Bureau opened 46 cases. I apologize for the typo where it says March. There's 46 cases for April. They arrested a suspect via warrant for falsely reporting an incident, risk of injury to a minor, and breach of peace. This was a swatting incident that was called in to the NYPD, who passed it on to our officers. So this was a very significant incident at the residence, as the individuals at the residence had no idea why the police were there. But the officers handled that very professionally and calmly, and our Detective Bureau followed up with that warrant. Detectives also made an arrest for a assault first and breach of peace regarding a stabbing that occurred on South Main Street in the month of April. Special Services opened 118 cases during the month of April. They made 51 felony arrests, 26 misdemeanor arrests, served 72 arrest warrants, and executed 7 search warrants. A very, very busy month for
I
our
guess
Special
so.
Services division. Yeah.
That was.
They worked jointly with a long-term investigation with the DEA out of Bridgeport into drug trafficking. 14 suspects were arrested on state charges, 6 arrested on federal charges, and 4 search warrants were executed at multiple residences. They assisted the FBI with the arrest of Kevin Kalenda for a federal wire fraud and larceny. That name may ring a bell, as I think it's his, I don't know how many times he's been arrested for the same charge federally for running a basically a scam. A financial scam. They executed a search warrant at the Smokehouse Vape Shop on Connecticut Avenue. This time they seized 7 pounds of marijuana and thousands of products containing THC above the legal limit. 2 suspects were arrested.
Just quickly, when you say THC above the legal limit, are they allowed to sell anything with THC in it?
There is a certain amount that so this smoke shop is not supposed to be selling THC products, period. But these THC products are above the limit prescribed by the Department of Health of the state of Connecticut. They shouldn't be sold anywhere.
Does that make a higher charge?
No, it's the same. It's the same charge as it would be for possession. Yep. Special victims, 38 cases for the month. They extradited a suspect back from Florida on a sexual assault third of a juvenile, and they have several ongoing cases of a sensitive nature that are occurring currently. 184 criminal arrests were made in April. Patrol Division responded to 7,248 calls, which is a lot of calls. You see the breakdown by platoon. Day shift remains the busiest of all the shifts.
Deputy Blake, I just had a question with regard to the THC, or actually with regard to a lot of the smoke shop. What is the attraction that all of a sudden I noticed there are lots of smoke shops all over the city?
I mean, I can't speak to the business side of that, but they certainly have popped up in recent times. We certainly have several of them in the city. Some of which have been dealing marijuana illegally, and our Special Services Division has been very proactive on executing search warrants at those locations, seizing their products and making arrests. But the fact is they continue to do so despite the multiple arrests and the multiple seizures. I think it's money driven is what keeps them going.
Okay. Thank you.
Our selective enforcement report in the month of April, there was 1,723 car stops, and which makes a total of 4,136 for the year. As you can see, we are up pretty high, certainly higher than last year. And I imagine our totals by the end of the year will be significantly higher than last year's totals, which were on a record pace. So again, the officers are remaining very proactive in their motor vehicle enforcement. And again, we're hopeful that with this proactivity will come a decrease in our accidents with injuries, which is our main focus of motor vehicle enforcement. And as you might note, there were 32 citations issued for loud mufflers and unnecessary noise from vehicles. So again, that the proactivity is there for that particular offense coming into the open window summer outdoor dining months, and they will remain vigilant doing that. And as we move on to our detective bureau, or the other report that with our update on our particular crimes from our detective bureau, it's basically identical in totals for 2023 for those particular crimes or investigations.
I'm glad to see the increased enforcement. I'm sure that probably everybody on this Zoom meeting has recognized the fact that driving, so many people are just driving irresponsibly, especially going through red lights like they don't even exist and they have no intention of stopping.
No, none.
They go flying right by me. I pull up and I start to stop. Somebody goes around me and beeps the horn. I mean, it's very aggressive and very rude, some people, when it comes to the motor vehicle operation. And, you know, and I'll tell you, when they see a police officer stop a car, that's a deterrent to them as well. So keep up the good work. Okay, Deputy Chief Blake, is there anything else, or?
That's it, Commissioners and Mayor.
Okay, next we have April training report, Deputy Chief Dinho.
Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor, Commissioners. For the month of April, the Community Police Services Division handled 1,072 calls for service. We have some major events listed. Some of them are the Autism Awareness Event, the Sono groundbreaking for the school ceremony, Roy Waiting Community Meeting, the Sono Food Drive, the Sikh Festival, Community Outreach at Marvin School Preschool, Community Outreach Child Abuse Prevention Month, the Coffee with the Cop at McDonald's, Earth Day celebration, and Little League opening ceremony. Within community policing, the traffic division for the month of April had 487 motor vehicle stops. And some of the selective enforcement locations for the month of April were West Avenue, East Avenue, Gristmill Road, Rampart Road, Wilson Avenue, Dr. Martin Luther King Drive, and Fox Run. And as you know, every month these locations are selected from a combination of complaints received from the public, as well as crash data statistics that are compiled by UConn. The Behavioral Health Unit opened 52 cases in April. One was referred from an outside agency. They were able to address 52 cases, of which they closed 37. 16 were self-initiated, and 35 were referred from within the police department, all divisions. For training, we had a total of 22 subject areas taught in April and a total of 52 attendees for training. And then you can see that those training dates are broken down by date and by officers attended.
Okay. Any questions from the commission?
I
Thank
have
you.
none.
Thank
I
you.
don't
That
have any
brings,
questions.
oh, sorry.
I have no
Yes.
questions.
Okay. Okay, that brings us to Deputy Chief Lepore for the administrative report.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, Commissioners.
Good
For
evening.
the administrative report this month for grant and operations inspections, Lieutenant Orr continues to work with organizing the reporting for all department grants. He's trying to get everything in order before the end of the reporting periods. So he's been working on that. We had 12 DUI grant hires for the month, resulting in 95 car stops. They conducted 25 sobriety tests and subsequently leading to 13 DUI arrests and 57 infractions were issued. For distracted driver, there was 71 grant hires for the month, resulting in 717 car stops. 431 infractions were issued for cell phone violations, 35 for speeding, and 187 for other violations. Project Safe Neighborhood Grant was awarded in the amount of $18,000 for the purchase of the automatic license plate readers. So we received that award. For staff inspections, combined dispatch was inspected and no major discrepancies were found. The next inspection will be an unannounced one for the property room. It will be sometime in June. So there'll be none for May. For the crime scene unit, we had 104 persons fingerprinted, 48 which were for pistol permits. They had 52 cases, case requests for FOI or for court. They for 20 cases processed for evidence. 108 patrol cases were processed for photographs and camera download of scenes. They conducted 7 background investigations for massage therapist permits and issued 10 solicitor permits for home repair workers that would like to solicit in the area of Norwalk. Professional standards and accreditation, we had PowerTime software. It continues to be rolled out and tailored towards our departmental needs. Been working with the individual patrol divisions and we are tweaking the software. So, and it's working great. For body camera and dashboard cameras, the lieutenant and sergeant that are in charge of it attended a 4-day biannual certification training for the processing of the evidence.com. And dashboard and body camera systems, we had 2 cameras that were returned for repairs. We installed 8 more dashboard cameras into our Tahoes that were received. For requests for videos and FOIs, we had 39 new requests. We burned 18 discs for videos and we had 15 electronic shares completed. That the shares are usually with the court system. Axon Performance software was installed into our CAD system, which is our dispatch system, and perimeters are being set for utilization. So that software trial period is underway. For accreditation, the lieutenant there and the sergeant are working on a new directive for the continuity of operations, and that's currently being developed. And then they just still continue to collect proofs for compliance for our accreditation standards.
Thank you. Very busy, everybody. It sounds like everything's in proper order. I like that unannounced inspection that you just announced, but
Well,
no, I know they're not going to know what day.
they don't hear it.
I just wanted, how does the automatic license plate reader work? How is it to work?
Yes, Commissioner. So what happens is we have received the award for $18,000, and that should allow us to buy 6 units that we can place throughout the city. And they can either be standalone or they can be affixed to an object like a telephone pole or something. They are solar powered, so they come with a solar panel attached to it. And they're freestanding, so everything is included with them. All the software, all the hardware, they are Wi-Fi, so they go to a cloud for storage, and it's all inclusive in that. And what happens with that is we can use them in different parts of the town, and they're also connected to one central database that other towns also can use if they buy into the same system. So we can share with Darien's going to be getting them, Fairfield, Ridgefield, Danbury, so we can utilize them if a car is getting broken into, or we're having a lot of car thefts, missing persons or silver alerts, anything like that. So we'll be able to utilize them for investigations.
Oh, okay, wonderful. And I just like to know, have we completed the increase in fees for doing DVDs and all those fees that we had that were too low?
Yes, ma'am, we have.
Okay. Thank you.
So now we have under personnel matters. We have tuition reimbursement for Officer Michael McCary. Can I get that moved for discussion?
I move
Mayor,
for discussion.
Yes.
Mayor, there was a revised agenda sent out.
Oh, I didn't get
think-
it.
Yeah, no, on Friday it was sent out by Mrs. Blinsky.
Okay, the one in my
yeah,
book does, yeah.
Yeah.
What is the revised agenda?
We go into executive discussion in regards.
Oh, that's
to
right.
Executive
I
session.
did get the revised.
Well, I have that, but I have it after the personnel matters.
Oh, I thought you wanted to, in the past, I thought you wanted to go to executive session first and then come back to the meeting and then make it an
Oh, I got,
action.
well, why don't we go to the top four? Then we'll go into an executive session and come back and discuss the drop.
Gotcha.
Okay. So tuition reimbursement, Officer Michael McCary. That's been
Okay.
moved.
Yes.
Chief,
Yes, Officer Michael McCary. As we all know, he's a high reacher with all his studies here, every commissioners meeting. Sacred Heart University Masters of Public Administration, as a degree being sought. He is requesting a reimbursement for 12 credits, human diversity, social justice, public policy and law, public sector communication, nonprofit management, and leadership. 12 credits at $940 a piece. The total was $11,475. His reimbursement at 50% is $5,737.50. All appears to be in order. He has submitted his receipt from Sacred Heart, his grades in A, an A minus, A minus, A minus, and he has had previous approvals at the commissioner meetings to take these courses.
wow. College education is getting expensive. I was just reading that Yale University is the third most expensive in Connecticut, and it's $90,000 a year.
Wow.
So anyway, any questions on Officer Michael McCary?
I have none.
Wouldn't
Okay.
expect anything less of him.
Yeah. All in favor of approving the reimbursement of $5,737.50?
I
Aye. Motion carries. Next is Officer Eslam Ellisy.
Yes, sir. It's a course approval form. Officer Eslam LSC, Sacred Heart University, going for his master's degree in public administration and criminal justice. He is asking for proposed courses, law, society, and ethics, fundraising for nonprofits, communication and crisis management, in his senior capstone seminar. He's confident that this degree of furthering my education will make him a better asset for the police department and for the city of Noah. This will help have him provide better service for the community and provide him a new set of skills to assist the public.
Could I have somebody move this course approval?
I move course approval for Eslam LSE as itemized.
Any further questions or discussion on this?
I had one question. With regard to officers who get higher degrees, is there a built-in system when they get a higher degree? Do they earn more in salaries?
Yes, in the contract, there's a stipend for bachelor's degree and master's degree.
All right.
All in favor of the course approval for Officer Eslam Ellisy?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Next is course tuition reimbursement for Officer Ellisy.
Yes,
It looks like about the same that Officer,
yes.
Yeah.
Officer LSE
McCary.
completed, yes, sir, 4 courses from Sacred Heart University in a master's degree, public policy and law, human diversity and social justice, public sector communication, nonprofit management and leadership. 12 credits, $940, $11,475 total. He is asking for a 50% reimbursement of $5,737.50. These courses were approved in January 22nd, 2024 Police Commission meeting. He has forwarded his grades.
Yep.
That were all A's and A minuses, and he has also submitted his receipt. All appears in order.
Can I have somebody move that for,
I
vote.
move tuition reimbursement for Eslam Ellison in the amount of $5,737.50 for courses completed.
all in favor?
Aye.
Congratulations to both of these officers.
Yeah, they're doing a great job.
Yes,
Yes.
they are.
And they're both new officers too.
Hmm.
Excellent.
That brings us to a bachelor's degree stipend for Officer Kesmar Clark.
Yes, Kesmar Clark just graduated the police academy. He has his bachelor's degree in criminal justice. He is looking for the approval for the stipend to be paid from the contract. He has submitted his diploma from Monroe College. He has a criminal justice bachelor's of science, magna cum laude.
Very nice.
All
Very-
right.
Very nice.
So can I have somebody move that?
Yes, I
I'll move
move.
that.
Okay, that's moved for the approval of the stipend, the bachelor's degree stipend for Officer Clark. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Now we'll have to go into executive session. I need a motion.
I move for executive session.
And the reason is for a contract discussion for Deputy Chief Melissa Lepore.
Yes, and then we'll go back into
Okay.
this. Thank you.
20, it is 5:20. We are back in public session. During executive session, no motions were made, no votes were taken. Commissioner Collier Clemens, coming back to the meeting, is having difficulty. So she is on the telephone with Chief Walsh and on speaker, I would imagine.
Yes,
And the item that we have before us, we need a motion on the contract discussion for Deputy Chief Melissa Lepore.
I move approval of the contract for Deputy Chief Melissa Lepore.
Are there any discussion on that issue?
I have no discussion.
Commissioner Collier Clemens,
I have no discussions.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is now we can get to the drop plan request for Lieutenant Mark Lepore.
yes, his application is in order, submitted to me by Mickey Dasimo, the administrative manager. Effective date will be August 1st, 2024. The details are in your package, the financial details. It is appropriate and concurrent with our current contract, allowing the drop plan for 5 years. August 1st, 2024 through July 31st, 2029.
And this for Commissioner Sumter, I think this might not be your first drop issue, but this is something that's covered in the contract. Officers, after they have a certain amount of time on and they're eligible to retire, they can go on the drop plan, which allows them to serve for 5 more years. They give up certain things. They can't get promoted after that and so forth. But I've looked at this. This looks like it's all in order. So could I have somebody move that?
I'll move the drop plan. And, oh, okay, first let me move.
Okay, the item's been moved.
Yes.
Any further discussion?
Yes.
None.
After the drop plan, what happens? And could you just explain a little bit what the drop plan is?
Chief?
Yes, the deferred, called the deferred retirement plan. The drop plan is an acronym stand for the deferred retirement plan. It was something bargained with the union approximately 20 years ago within the contract. So once an officer reached 48 years of age and has completed 20 years of service, they can enroll into the drop plan for 5 years, anywhere from 1 to 5 years, where they continue to serve at their current rank and position and seniority and the retirement benefits get invested into a fund negotiated by the city with the union. So more or less, we're able to retain qualified, experienced senior officers. So at this point, so we still have the experience of another 5 years without, he could either leave, go get another job and still get paid his salary. I should say, still get paid his pension. So he's staying for 5 more years.
And after that 5 years, he's eligible to leave or he will leave.
He will leave. It's mandated in the contract that they sign that they leave on the end of their 5 years.
And you said that is because he now has how many years of before retirement in this in the Norwalk Police Department?
You have to complete 20 years and be 48 years of age.
Okay, gotcha. All right.
Okay. So, any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. We thank Lieutenant Lepore for his service and happy to see he's going to be around for a little bit longer. Chief, we have complimentary letters.
Yes, the letter is actually from the wife of the individual who Officer Lowe and Officer Deary saved from the manhole, writing with a grateful heart.
Okay, yep.
You know, her husband, Mr. Remy, went to cardiac arrest while working in Norwalk, Connecticut, in the pipe.
Right.
Officer Lowe and Deary performed CPR immediately. On behalf of the family, David and I want to thank these officers for stepping up so quickly to save his life. We will be eternally grateful for what they have done. More often than not, it seems that police officers do not get the recognition for the good work, only for something that may have gone terribly wrong. Her husband is still alive today, and their daughter has a father because Officer Lowe and Deary, who are providing a detailed duty for the worksite, jumped in and saved his life. They are heroes to this family. With gratitude, Susan. It's a great letter of recognition. The second letter is to acknowledge one of our newer officers, Officer Scarpelli, who lateral hire, uphold his oath of office to serve and protect his community. Yesterday, someone found her set of keys and dropped them at Norwalk PD. Officer Scarpelli noticed the ShopRite tag on the set and contacted ShopRite and tracked the owner down and called me to let me know that where the keys were. His actions was beyond the call of duty. This showed that this great officer goes that extra mile to help a citizen. I have no words to describe my appreciation for this gentleman. I hope this note reaches the proper authorities to know what a great officer he is. I feel safer now to know that Officer Scarpelli is serving in the Norwalk PD.
Well, that's quite interesting, where he took it upon himself to notice that tag, went to ShopRite, got the information so he could call her. That's amazing. It really, just to use that skill and to take that step is unbelievable.
Yes, it is. And the last one is for Officer Kim Prada. The woman, I would like to commend this officer who stopped for a traffic violation this morning in Norwalk. It was shortly before 10 a.m. traveling west on Connecticut Avenue and ran a red light or near the intersection with County Street. I guess they were near Strawberry Hill and County Street. A mail delivery truck was at the intersection. I was admonished for the possible consequences of a collision should that have occurred. It was a gravely foolish mistake that I had made, and as a result, I became emotionally distraught. The officer was very clear in her explanation to use caution in the future and thankfully did not issue a ticket. She was empathetic to my distress and asked that I park briefly in a nearby lot and compose myself before proceeding. She exhibited wisdom and superior judgment in execution of her duty in response to what I had made a rather difficult situation. I have the highest regard for her professionalism and capable ability and feel a debt of gratitude that I will always remember. I am uncertain of the officer's name, but she was a young woman with blonde hair. And we were able to determine that was Officer Kim Prada, who was one of our school resource officers who was probably going to her duties. And came across this traffic violation and used some discretion, but it appears that the definite message of enforcement was relayed. And this lady was appreciative based on her discretion and the way she handled the situation.
Wow.
Very good. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the only items on our agenda. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Just before we adjourn, I just want to say, I also thought that in both cases, not only were the families and different people appreciative, but they also had the foresight to actually put it in writing. And it's always said that the pen is mightier than the sword. In a case like this, I really thought that they went above and beyond to show their appreciation for the great work of the Norwalk Police Department, and commend the chief and all of the officers that get involved with situations like this.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
So it's always nice when you stop somebody for a traffic violation and they appreciate it.
Yeah, yeah. I thought that was very interesting also. Okay.
Okay. Now, if there's a motion, the next meeting is June 17th, 2024 at 4:15 PM. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion
Adjourn.
that we adjourn.
All in favor?
Aye,
Aye, motion carries. Thank you all.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Okay.
Okay, take